thou Daitya Danava Vanditao Hiranyakashipur Nama Hiranyaksha Kirtitao Hiranyakashipur Bharya Kayadur Nama Danavi Jambasya Tanaya Satu Sushruve Chaturasutan Samhridam Praganuhridam Hradam Praradame Vacha Tatasvasya Simhikanama Rahum Viprachito Grahit Shiroharajasya Harish Chakrena Pibato Mritam Samhradasya Kritir Bharya Sutta Panjanam Tata Pradasya Vamanir Bharya Sutava Tapim Ilvalam Yogastaya Yativ Atit Se peche vatapim ilvaha anuredasya suryayam barshkalo mahichastata virochanastu praradir devyam tasya bavad bali Banajishtam puchashatam ashanayam tato bhavat tasyanubhavam Sushlokam Paschadeva Yasyate Barnara Girisham Lebetad Gana Mukyatam Yat Pashve Bhagavanaste Hi Adyapi Pura Palaka Marutaschaditye Putras Chatvarishan Navadika Te Asan Apraja Sarve Nita Indrena Satmanam Marutaschaditye Putras Chatvarim Shan Navadika Ta asan apraja sarve nitya indrena satmata marutascha dite putras chatvarim shan navadika ta asan apraja sarve nitya indrena satmatam maruta the maruts cha and Dite of Diti, Putraha, sons, Patva Rimshat, 40, Nava Adhika, +9, Te, they, Asan, where, Apraja, without sons, Sarve, all, Nitaha, were brought, Indrana, by Indra, Sa'at Matam, to the position of demigods. Translations purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Later, in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe how Urukrama, Lord Vamanadev, appeared as the son of the great sage Kashyapa, and how he covered 3 worlds with 3 steps. I shall describe the uncommon activities he performed, his qualities, his power, and how he took birth from the womb of Aditi. Now let me describe the sons of Aditi, who were begotten by Kashyapa, but who became demons. In this demoniac family, the great devotee Prahlad Maharaj appeared, and Bali Maharaj also appeared in that family. The demons are technically known as Daityas because they proceeded from the womb of Diti. First, the two sons, named Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, took birth from Diti's womb. Both of them were very powerful and were worshipped by the Daityas and Danavas. The wife of Hiranyakashipu was known as Kayadu. She was the daughter of Jamba and a descendant of Danu. She gave birth to 4 consecutive sons, known as Samlada, Anulada, Klada, and Prahlada. The sister of these 4 sons was known as Simhika. She married the demon Viprachit and gave birth to another demon named Rahu. While Rahu, in disguise, was drinking nectar among the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead severed his head. The wife of Samlada was named Kirti. By union with Samlada, Kirti gave birth to a son named Panchajana. The wife of Klada was named Damani. She gave birth to 2 sons named Vatapi and Ilvavala. When Agastya Muni became Ilvala's guest, Ilvala served him a feast by cooking Vatapi, who was in the shape of a ram. The wife of Hanulada was named Surya. She gave birth to 2 sons named Bashkala and Mahisha. The Lord had one son, Virochana, whose wife gave birth to Bali Maharaj. Thereafter, Bali Maharaj begot 100 sons in the womb of Ashana. One of these 100 sons, King Bana, King Bana was the eldest. The activities of Bali Maharaj, which are very laudable, will be described later in the 8th canto. Since King Bana was a great worshipper of Lord Shiva, he became one of Lord Shiva's most celebrated associates. Even now, Lord Shiva protects King Bana's capital and always stands beside him. The 49 Marut demigods were also born from the womb of Diti. None of them had sons. Although they were born of Diti, King Indra gave them a position as demigods. Purport. Apparently, even demons can be elevated to positions as demigods when their atheistic character is reformed. There are 2 kinds of men throughout the universe. Those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are called demigods, and those who are just the opposite are called demons. Even the demons can be transformed into demigods, as the statements of this verse proves. Om Gnanatamandasya Gnanjana Shlakaya Chakshurumetamyana Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading about currently the dynasty of the demons, of the sons of Diti, starting with Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, who are very famous demons. We read about the liberation of both of them in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then also we're reading, or there's a list here of their descendants, along with some of their activities, including Rahu, who tried to take the nectar by deception, Ilvala, who tricked Agastya Muni into a form of cannibalism, and various other uh, personalities in the dynasty of the demons. And Prabhupada gives in his purport classification that there are those who are demigods, who are the devotees of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, and then there are demons, those who are not devotees of uh, Lord Krishna. So it can be analyzed like this into two, that there are devotees and there are demons. Also, elsewhere, the classification is given in three, that there are the devotees and the demons, and then the naive or innocent, those who don't know any better one way or the other. They simply follow whoever is in charge, whether that is a devotee or a demon. So when the devotees are in charge, they act like a devotee. When the demons are in charge, they act like a demon. We should understand that this question of demon or demigod or devotee is a question of mentality, not simply of birth. There are two words in Sanskrit that are sometimes translated as demon. One is daitya, which of course comes from the word deity, and that is referring to a specific dynasty, a specific line of people. And then the other word is asura, which refers to the mentality. Of course, many of those of the daityas are also asuras. So the uh, translation of both into demon is not too confusing in most cases. Although, of course, as we read, there are also great devotees in the line of the Daityas. Most famous, as was mentioned, is Prahlad Maharaj. And then there is also, of course, Bali Maharaj, who's the grandson of Prahlad. We'll be reading about their pastimes later on in the seventh and eighth cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But the asuras, the demons, are people of a particular mentality. And this is described in the Bhagavad Gita in a famous set of verses in the 16th chapter, where it is the divine and demoniac natures are described. So the description of the demoniac natures is given here. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness, nor proper behavior, nor truth is found in them. They say that the world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible work meant to destroy the world. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by networks of hundreds of thousands of desires, and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by a legal means for sense gratification. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my scheme. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance, thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions. They become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. So, this is given the basic constitution of the mentality of the asuras, the demons. So, we should study these characteristics and be able to recognize them when we come across them. In ourselves? In ourselves and in any philosophy or things that are heard. That because we should recognize that basically the whole of modern civilization is demoniac. It is run by the demons, of the demons, for the demons. There's basically nothing in modern society that is not touched by this demoniac mentality. And we just go through the various qualities. For example, they say it is produced of such desire and has no cause other than lust. This is basically Darwinism. That basically the scientific, so-called scientific idea that the reason that we exist is because there's a drive to reproduce, and that all that there is this selection force, that everything is just uh, selected for by sexual attractiveness in various species of life. And that leads to the conclusion that uh, all that we have to do is gratify the senses. And we see the transformation of this lust in so many ways in this demoniac society. Practically everything uh, is advertised by various forms of lust, specifically sex desire. You have attractive men and women for every sort of advertisement, because they want to trick you into, I guess, subconsciously thinking that, if you buy this variety of bread, then you can enjoy with this sort of person. Because the entire thing is situated on lust. Even uh, institutions which are supposed to be or are purported to be kind of agnostic or secular are simply atheistic. And I'm thinking specifically of academia, because the mm, rhetoric of academia and science and things like that is, oh, we're just dispassionate observers. We evaluate things without any bias and just trying to get at the truth, uh, which is a load of nonsense. It's totally atheistic. It's not, agnostic or secular. Uh, because they are committed to all sorts of speculative theories. And ultimately, they're committed to viewing themselves as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This mentality comes, it's like, I will look at all the different theories and decide for myself which one is good and what parts are bad and what part is valid and invalid. And I will synthesize according to my own intelligence, which is greater than anybody else's intelligence, a system that is better than everything else because I am the supreme. This is actually what is behind the uh, theories and uh, viewpoints and all of these frameworks and constructions of the modern so-called intellectual and academic mind. That it is basically the attempt to be God, that they want to be the controller, the enjoyer, to attempt to fulfill their own desires and to have others fulfill their desires as well. And uh, this expands into society at large because uh, everything, in a certain sense, is downstream from philosophy. That if one has bad philosophy, one will form bad actions, which leads to a bad society, and bad results all around. And in thinking that uh, all these things, um, I have so much wealth, I'll gain more according to my schemes, this is mine now, I'll increase in the future. One is sure to become frustrated because the material world does not work like this. That is simply increase, increase, increase. The material world is mixed happiness, or so-called happiness, and distress. The happiness is so-called, the distress is real. Uh, so by this force of the material nature, when the demoniac person loses what he thought he would be gaining, then comes anger. This is also described in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, from contemplation on the objects of the senses. One develops attachment for them, from attachment lust, and then lust anger. And then the rest of the uh, chain of events is given from anger, bewilderment of memory, I believe, and then loss of intelligence, and then falling back down into the material to suffer again and again the throes of material nature. So we should recognize all of these different demoniac theories when we see them. We can analyze them through these various qualities given in this 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But there is a even easier way to tell whether something is demoniac or not. If something is pointing to pure devotional service of Krishna, then it is divine. Everything else is demoniac, no matter what it is. Even things that from a worldly point of view are good are concluded to be demoniac if they do not point towards the um, pure devotional service of Krishna. Whether it's something that is grossly demoniac, uh, you know, some sort of supremacy or war or things like this, or things that are externally what a average person would say is very nice. Feeding the poor, building schools, orphanages, uh, welfare work, study of these various history, philosophy. If it does not have connection with Krishna, then it is made for demons. So we should understand, actually, this fact that anything not connected with Krishna is demoniac. And we should try to elevate ourselves and others to the platform of divine life. That is actually the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement, uh, to elevate people to actual saintly behavior. Now, I heard somebody quoted the other day. I haven't gone and checked the accuracy myself, but there's a discussion in the uh, Brahma Vaivarta Purana, I believe, where actually the Krishna consciousness movement, ISKCON, is prophesied. Not just Srila Prabhupada, who's prophesied in various places, but ISKCON in general. Because the holy rivers are coming to Krishna at the end of Kali Yuga, saying that you're about to leave, and this age of Kali is coming to uh, basically destroy all good qualities of the world. What are we to do during this uh, distressful, this evil age of Kali? And Krishna answers them that for 5,000 years, you'll just have to tolerate sinful people coming to bathe in you in order to get rid of their sinful reactions. But after that time, there will be saintly people all over the world who will be purified by chanting the holy names, and they will come to bathe in you. So this Krishna consciousness movement is the means to elevate this demoniac and ghostly population to the stage of devotional service, to the stage of demigod behavior. But we should be careful not to mix up the pure message with demoniac messages. It is not simply that, uh, because we are wearing tilak or neck beads, or chanting, or uh, even if we are initiated or have a Brahmin thread, that we are immune from these things. If somebody is acting like a demon, or speaking like a demon, or thinking like a demon, then we should understand that it is of the demoniac nature. Of course, this might just be in the clearing stage, but still, we should be very careful to not mix up the pure message that Srila Prabhupada gave us with the various mm, contaminations from modern culture. Because sometimes people can mm, mix in, you know, various ideas, social theories, modern psychology, uh, scientific theories, even all of these things, which are not found in the books of Srila Prabhupada, and present that as integral to Srila Prabhupada's mission, which it isn't. In the spirit of Yukta Vairagya, sometimes we can use these things, but we should understand that if we do, then they are always and totally subordinate to the proper Siddhanta given by Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas. And uh, we should mm, understand what parts of these things to accept and what to reject. Because it's not mm, necessarily that these things are unusable, but we should not become submissive to those theories because we run the risk then of uh, muddying the message that Srila Prabhupada gave to us. Because Srila Prabhupada gave a very clear message. I know myself and maybe others were attracted. That's one of the reasons that we were attracted to this Krishna consciousness movement. That it is actually clear, not like modern New Age spirituality that's uh, oh, just everything vague, like, feel the light on your skin and this and that. Or even modern religions, that, you just have to have faith and it's all a mystery and things like that. No, everything is clear and we should uh, be careful not to muddy it up with other philosophies that we might be attracted to. And if we actually have this determination to follow strictly the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, then we will eventually become purified and will lose taste for all of these demoniac theories that are so prevalent and are running the world today. And that should be our standard of what we accept and what we reject. And of course, we're not a system of blind faith. One should be thoughtful. But once one accepts the spiritual master in the line of acharyas, once one accepts that Srila Prabhupada is the pure devotee representative of Krishna and the acharyas, then one should take one's worldview, one's entire worldview, based on his teachings, and not try to follow the demoniac society around us. Uh, so yes, we should not become influenced by the demons around us, but try to influence the demons around us. This was Prabhupada's mission of cultural acceptance. When devotees came to Prabhupada uh, to talk about being accepted in society, they said, okay, we can become accepted in society, but they'll have to accept us as we are. Not that we change in order to become accepted. Because we have the highest message that there is. We have pure devotional service to Krishna, which is incredibly rare in all of the three worlds, not just in the three worlds in this universe, but in every universe. It is incredibly rare to find pure devotional service. So we should learn how to perform such devotional service uh, that is unalloyed. Uh, Prabhupada picked up this term, you could say, as he saw uh, an advertisement for unalloyed metal. And he asked one of his disciples, what does this word unalloyed mean? And the disciple explained that an alloy is a mixture of multiple metals. So unalloyed means no mixture. And then Prabhupada started using this word, unalloyed, no mixture from anything else. Only Krishna consciousness, only Bhakti Siddhanta, uh, only the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas. And if we stick to this, then we can actually make a revolution in the impious lives of this fallen demoniac civilization in the age of Kali. So I'll end here. We have about 17 minutes left for discussion. Do you have any comments, questions, additions, subtractions? Uh, Virtual audience?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Haribo Prabhu.
Um, yeah, I'm just, you know, a interesting, I guess, concept was brought up about
Right.
that I heard about was like we all, we all, um, yeah. I mean, it seems like some devotees who might be more like amenable to maybe world views, other world views.
Mhm.
Like it seems like they're getting purified, they're going back to Godhead, and those that want to stay more on the straight and narrow, like they're also getting purified, they're also going back to Godhead. So yeah, it's interesting because there's we're all affected by certain biases.
Yeah.
So according to like how we're raised and all that. So yeah, it's I guess yeah, I'm just maybe putting it up for discussion, but it seems like
What does getting
those are
purified
more.
mean?
It means like yeah, obtaining saintly qualities and obtaining love of God.
It also means giving up all of these anarthas, because these different theories are anarthas.
But it could also, I mean, and another anarta could also be like a like say someone is born and they like to just like follow rules very strictly and
Hmm.
like myself, like when people are breaking the rules, I'm like, what
Yeah,
the heck,
niyamagraha, niyamagraha.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does that
So
say? Elaborate on this.
yeah, so like nectar of instruction, there's niyamagraha, niyamagraha, following too not exactly too strictly, but following strictly for the sake of following strictly. And then um following or not following or just following flippantly. Just like I'll follow and then not follow and then maybe halfway follow. Both of these are um, uh, detrimental to progress in devotional service. Um, and yeah, both of these are anarthas. Anarthas aren't mutually exclusive, let's say, or stereotyped. Said that bhakti is a razor's edge. Razor's edges are very thin. So you go a little bit one way, you can fall off, and you go a little bit another way, you fall off, or you can just get cut. Uh, so yes, following simply for the sake of following without knowing why is also an anartha. Uh, you would just say it's like kind of a legalism, right? So like a legalistic view. Um, but on the plea of overcoming uh, this anartha, we shouldn't not follow. We should correct our mentality into following for the right reasons. Uh, and I've heard the adage. Um, I heard it attributed to Jayadvaita Swami. I don't know if he was the first one that said it. That nobody's ever fallen down by being too strict. Uh, so yeah, that is correct. That um, yeah, on the one side, people have the anartha following flippantly, and on the other side, people have the anartha of following, but just in a perfunctory manner. Both of these need to be given up. But purification means giving up these anarthas. And generally when we think of anartha, we think of lust, greed, anger, etc. But uh, attachment to democracy and uh, all of legalism, uh, all these different other philosophies as well. I just picked out two uh, are also anarthas. That will, as we advance in devotional service, if we're practicing correctly, we will also become purified of those. So, any other comments, questions?
Yeah, there's a lot of great points. I liked one thing that stuck out was how you said everything, all actions can boil down to philosophy, like
Mhm.
philosophy we carry and things. And I think sometimes it can be dangerous to feel like everything's demonic. Cause I think of like my mom. She works really hard. I feel like if she was like born a devotee, raised a devotee, like she'd be an amazing devotee. She's more in the naive category,
Yeah.
let's say. And but she works really hard to like support a family. And in a way we know like family extension is like grihamati or whatever. It's like
Hmm.
it's an extension of ego. It's like demonic in that way.
Yeah.
But I think it can be dangerous when we like are like just throwing out like judgments across the board. And of course we like can. So I don't know. How do you go?
What's wrong with judgments?
It can stop connection. It can make you a little closed off to like meeting people on a heart level if you're like speaking at their everyone's
So we shouldn't be trying to. mm, so- Once again, what do you mean by connecting on the heart level?
what
Like, like because we aren't in the process of taking association from non-devotees. We can give them our association. That the influence should be flowing from us to them, not the other way around. And yeah, I mean, specifically family situations can be a bit complicated, so I won't say anything necessarily specific about that at the moment. But yeah, we should understand that um, yeah, we uh, give our association to people. It's not always that we walk up to people and just say, "You're a demon," because that's not because it isn't true, but because it isn't effective, right? Uh, and you mentioned judgment and judgmental. There's this idea taken from one of these demoniac worldviews that we should never judge people But you don't find that in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, right? You find in the Srimad Bhagavatam that if you aren't a devotee, and if you're working for your own sense gratification, then you're on the same level as a hog, dog, camel, or ass. And yeah, the what's the phrase? Rija Padapashu, right? Or Dvipadapashu, two-legged animal. We find these statements everywhere throughout Srila Prabhupada's works. So yeah, because judgment is a function of the intelligence. We shouldn't give up our intelligence. We should apply it correctly, and as one becomes more expert in preaching, one knows when to uh, be soft as a rose or hard as a thunderbolt, because both have their place. But we should understand what the actual conclusions of the Shastra are. Uh, yeah, so, and unfortunately, these days, the naive also act demoniac because the demons are in charge. But, as mentioned in the purport when I was talking, this Krishna consciousness movement is made for elevating demons to the level of devotees. So, yeah, we should try to give everybody Krishna consciousness as much as possible. Any response?
No, thank you.
Yeah. We have a few minutes left. Any other comments, questions, etc.?
I have a quick comment.
Yes, Tarka Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for a very nice class.
Thank
I'm
you.
appreciating your points. One point, we're mentioning Srila Prabhupada's use of the term unalloyed. um, the story, as I recall it, is that this Srila Prabhupada first encountered this term when he arrived in Boston Harbor.
Mhm.
On the Jaladuta, there was a warehouse on the dock with a very large sign that said unalloyed steel.
Mhm.
And when Srila Prabhupada read that, he took it to be confirmation that he should preach boldly and without compromise.
Mhm.
Then later, some years later, after a temple was established in Boston, Srila Prabhupada one day took the devotees for a drive. Pansadura had acquired a school bus, and but there were no seats in the bus except for the
Mhm.
driver's seat. So they put a chair in the front of the bus for Srila Prabhupada to sit on, and he took all the devotees for a drive and just directed them, turn here, turn right here, turn left here. The devotees didn't know where they were going, but he took them to Boston Harbor, and they took a walk around the harbor. And during that time, he began preaching about pure devotional service, and he used the term unalloyed. And then he pointed with his cane to the warehouse where there was this big sign that said unalloyed, and all the devotees got to see the sign.
Mhm.
Anyway, that was the story with that. I um I was wondering if you could give some examples of ways in which um, we have added elements to sometimes adding elements to our preaching that has no basis in the Srila Prabhupada Siddhanta. You mentioned psychology and
Mhm.
various other things, and I've observed this over the years that various elements that actually don't belong have been creeping in here and there. I wonder if you have any particular examples in mind.
Yeah. I'll try to think of an example that won't drown us in a firestorm of controversy. But yeah, I think a lot of yeah, so the yeah, I mentioned and you brought up again the influence of modern psychological theories into our conversation, Siddhanta, etc. Another thing that I've noticed is sometimes the introduction of what you could call new agey language into our preaching. Uh, if you mm, advertise for, say, a retreat or some workshop or something, then it's all, cleansing your chakras and forest bathing for your inner child and all of these sorts of kind of new agey sort of concepts uh, that are not necessarily, I'd say, not found, in many cases, not found anywhere in the uh, pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, Sometimes we can also present uh, the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita as ways to live better in this world, which if it gets somebody in the door, uh, can be a possibility, but shouldn't be the end of it. Once we get people in the door, we should very quickly teach them the proper standard. So, do you have any more comments on this? So, should I move to the Tulsi room, or are you?
No, no, let's greet their lordships.
All right,
And
Srimad.
thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. I will. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki jai.
Shtaya Bhutre, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne, Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschat Yadi Shatarne, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati.
Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe. Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Vishaka Shri Radhe. Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Vishaka Shri Radhe. Jaya Lalita Vishaka Lalita Vishaka Shri Radhe. Jaya Nitai Gora Sundar Nitai Gora Sundar Gora Hari. Jaya Nitai Gora Sundar Jaya Nitai Gora Sundar Nitai Gora Sundar Gora Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Kevala Bhakti Sadhana Krishna Prasaya Kali Krishna Prasaya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Bhagavati